Everything in your life is consciousness, and you cannot think to yourself that this is consciousness and that that is solid matter. Because every single thing is actually consciousness made visible, and human minds are creating it minute by minute. This is the Real Healing Institute. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a teacher of the Christ Letters. So what we were talking about is planetary, why the Earth is in the state that it is in. And so it talks in the Christ Letters in a couple of articles at the back, and it is talking about the different wars that occurred and then the consciousness of the collective after those wars occurred. And it was after 1945, when society was brought into upheaval, that the previously downtrodden masses were directed into three fighting forces in the war, and they had the opportunity to demonstrate hitherto unsuspected intelligence and skills. As a result, the class barriers were largely broken down, and the previously underprivileged people were now given the opportunity to further their education and move up into professional positions. Sadly, these opportunities took place. The consciousness inherited from babyhood in impoverished homes were not replaced by life-giving thoughts. And so that old feeling of life not being fair, or being hard done by, or being rejected by the wealthy remained and produced a great deal of negative reaction, instead of new opportunities afforded to the people, generally producing a high degree of elation of spirit, a belief in success and achievement and happiness. There was a very negative, life-undermining consciousness at work in the minds of the population, destroying much of the well-being and joy that should have been built up after the last war. With the advent of a huge amount of technical skills and discoveries contributing to the general well-being of the humans. But in search for fun and frivolity, the rules for living decent lives went relaxed and gradually were cast aside. If you go back to the Victorian or Edwardian eras, there was very strict, rigid rules for living, but this kept people treating each other better. There was fear of, if I sin, then this is the consequences of it, and people just generally treated people well. But it is the consciousness currently and previously of society that we are now experiencing. And if you don't know, that consciousness actually affects the weather. It affects our climate completely and truly. And so what we are experiencing currently is a manifestation of what was previously and what has currently been in place. When the collective believes in climate change because it's forced down their throats through all the media and TV, and it's telling you this is happening and this is happening and this is happening, and then all the people start believing in it, contributing their thought to it, and then speaking about it, then we see these really devastating things. And you will also notice that there are certain areas that are more strongly affected. These other areas that perhaps have fault lines in them, where the consciousness really can take hold. So what we are accomplishing here is we are emptying ourselves of our will to be in charge of our life. We are eradicating the ego, because when we do this, what we are creating is love within the planet. And then when we have an actual loving consciousness where you're not in conflict with your neighbor, where you're not in conflict, or where you're not in competition with your neighbor, but where you can truly live loving and peaceful lives together with each other, then what we are creating is an actual state of heaven here on earth. Now, what happens when you constantly and consciously reject the state of ego reaction and enter into a state of proactivity, you might find it painful or annoying to have to let go and to overcome that old sense of, having been treated badly. You might feel like you want to deal with that and you want to go after it or get revenge or have anger or feel like a victim. But as you persist to eradicate the ego joyfully, you will find that one day you're able to move immediately into a state of proactive joy and forgiveness and understanding and caring concern for whoever has just that moment upset your equilibrium. And I'm telling you, from a place of being there, once you get there, man, there's just no other way to be. And it's hard to go back to that old way of being. In fact, you couldn't. Once you get there, you just couldn't. Because you found so much more joy and happiness and the truth in that, in living rightly by eradicating the ego. And when you have achieved this level of loving response to the outer dark influences, you have established a framework of divine consciousness on earth. So try to understand here that you've created an era of wholeness on earth, and that this does not dissolve when you do this. Each time, every single time that you can retain love in your heart in the face of opposition, you have built a little oasis of divine love in your environment. And as we said, there's nothing that is actually solid. This divine love will become visible to you in your outer world. And you must hold faith. You must, if you're starting to do this work, or you've just discovered this channel, maybe you've never even heard of this kind of stuff before, that you really do create the life that you're living in. And the things, your thoughts that you have actually affect the environment around you and actually dictate and change and control your whole entire life. And that the things that you've experienced in this life, you've experienced because you thought them, you feared them, you spoke about them, or you took action towards them, or you experienced them because this is karma from some previous life that you are now paying for, that you are now awarded to, or that this was part of some divine plan that you came here. It will always be electromagnetism. It will always be something previously at play that is coming back to either bless or downgrade you now. What happened in the past? I know when I had an experience in my life that was extremely negative, I, as a hypnotherapist, regressed myself back and took that feeling all the way back, and I went back to a past life where I was a queen and I was doing these, I did something to somebody else, and it's like, oh, now, how many years, hundreds of years later, I'm now experiencing the other side of that. Or had, a feeling that I had my whole life. Why did I have this feeling? Regress it back, and I go back, and, I was kicked out of my own kingdom. And not every time was I royalty, absolutely not. Most of the time that was not, but these, couple went back to particularly this and had a very strong hold on me. Another thing, going back to these, it is so important. There is a free video on my mental cleanse series called Past Life. Totally do it, because it will just guide you yourself to whatever past life you need to see. So every time you do it, it'll be different. But going back and seeing these can really help illuminate and change things for you. It helped me to find extreme forgiveness for someone, because I understood that the only reason that I had lived that previous life that was, a pretty intense life was for the purpose of forgiveness. And so realizing that and seeing who that person is in my life now, and realizing that we did not accomplish that in that life, we had to come and we had to accomplish it in this life, which means then somebody had to do something to me so that I could forgive them. Or how would we have learned? Had they not done the thing, how could I learn the thing about forgiveness? So it was intended to be this way for my benefit. And so when you go back and you look at these past lives, it can really help you to make sense of things that have occurred or that are occurring in your life, and it can make things easy for you, because as you let go of resentment or victimhood of thinking, well, I was born into this household, I didn't do anything to these people. If you could understand that it happened for you, so that, who knows why, man, there's so many reasons, so that you could be stronger, so that you could deal with karma from previous lives, so that you could be who you are. When you can understand that everything is happening for you, then you can let go of your ego that says, no, it's not. This is an exception to the rule. Well, this particular thing is an exception. There are no exceptions, man. Not one. There's none. Everything is happening for you always. And when you can believe this, then what you have done is you have held on to that love in the face of opposition, and you have created for yourself an oasis of divine consciousness. And each time that you can remain and retain this love and remain in that love in your heart, in the face of opposition, you have built that little oasis of divine love in your environment. And you will perceive that as more and more people on earth strive to respond to the darkness in this way, the darkness itself will be affected. It cannot be otherwise. And so will the ranks of those striving to create the kingdom of heaven on earth begin to increase and swell, and eventually the voices of the divine will begin to enlighten the responses of those who are still unenlightened. It will be undeniable to them what they are witness to. If somebody tells you, this is color purple, but you've been told forever it's the color yellow, and you're like, no, man, it's yellow, it's yellow, it's yellow. Eventually, when somebody shows you and proves to you, no, this is actually the color purple, you will have no choice but to be like, okay, I guess the way that I was taught and was told was incorrect, and that this is the right way. People will see the lives change of those who follow without falter and with total faith the divine. When you seek the divine, because all that you're doing is seeking that perfect love. That's all that you are doing. You are finding it in every situation where you see that there is no love that exists. You will find it. You will seek until you find it there. And I'm telling you, I can do this in every situation. Somebody might, this terrible thing. Well, no, you don't know this. This is happening for you. So let's say that this ending over here that you believe is such a horrible and bad, terrible thing is actually a blessing for you. It's actually a wonderful thing, because what is it going to do? It's going to lead to this here down the road, and you don't know what that thing is yet. But when you suffer and you put yourself into hell believing it's a bad thing, you're planting those seeds of hell. You're going to harvest more of that later. But when you can believe, no, I know this is happening for me. I don't know how or why, but I know I'm going to find out, and I'm going to find out soon, sooner than later. And you believe this, then you are creating heaven for yourself, and you are going to harvest more heaven down the road, because this is putting your faith in the love rather than putting your faith in the evil. And you have experienced evil in your life, I'm sure that you have. And has it been you that was the creator of it? Maybe it hasn't. Maybe this came from a past life. Maybe it was somebody else that put that on you. But what happens, and how powerful and how strong must you be when you can turn and transmute that evil situation, that darkness, into the light? Because darkness feeds darkness, I will tell you that. You cannot get love out of hate. You cannot, but you can get love out of love. But what do you get out of hate? You get more hate. And so when we feed the darkness with more darkness, we're getting more darkness. It's the way that it works. So when we feed that darkness with light, let me tell you guys, I went and I saw the full eclipse, like however long it was, that maybe a year ago or whatever it was. I had a couple friends that told me, man, if you can go and you can see that full eclipse 100% full on, it'll change your life. And I had two separate people tell me this, and I was like, dude, I got to do it. And it was only about 4 hours from my house down in Joplin that I could drive and get 100%. So 100% means you can take off those eclipse glasses for 4 minutes. Because the sun is completely 100% blocked, you can take it off, and you can just look at that eclipse with your bare eyes. And it is something, man. And they were right. It really did change my life. And off the side of it, it was the strangest thing. I'm like, what am I actually viewing here? And it looked like a crystal box. It looked like a diamond box. It was pretty large. And I know my sister was in Houston, and she was not at 100%. She was at, 98 or 90, whatever she was at. And she said that the box appeared orange, but where I was, it was perfectly clear and looked like a diamond, perfect crystal. And so the most amazing thing about this was that we had 4 whole minutes that we could take our glasses off. But the thing is, the sky was not completely dark. You would think that it would be. But when there was the tiniest crack of light, and I am talking the tiniest crack of light, as soon as it moved off, that end of that 4 minutes, and that little beam of light came off of the sun, the sky was as bright as it is in the middle of the day. There was absolutely no difference. So that tiniest little itty bit of light, that crack of light in the darkness, can light up all the darkness. And this is what we are doing, my friends. We are the light in the darkness. This is what we do for people. When we show them love, when most people would respond with hate. When we show them kindness, when most people would not respond in this way. When we do not judge something that most people would judge, this is what we are doing. We are being that light in the darkness. This is what we are doing. And when we respond to the darkness in this way, the darkness itself will be affected. It cannot be otherwise. It cannot be otherwise. And what is happening on earth while individuals are creating their own little oasis of divine love on earth? What's happening? Well, these oases will manifest as long desired benefits in human society. So when we think about these leaders that are leading our countries, I need you to believe that they have been put in place for a reason, that they are here to help us, and that they are going to help to bring the light into this world. Because as you believe this, we are actually manifesting this. We are sending that light into that darkness where it has been for a long time, and it will be no longer. Because it is no longer acceptable. We are moving into an era of peace and love, and it is our every loving thought that is a transforming influence on this planet. And so if we continue to think in the old way, then we will get the old results. Jesus came with an entirely new message, which is why he was killed and rejected. Because they were like, what? You mean we're not going to be able to control the people anymore? What? You're telling people that they reap as they sow? Well, this isn't the case. Well, how are we supposed to get any money if people aren't murdering animals anymore for sacrifices in the church? And they were just pissed, and so they killed him. They were like, dude, you're not coming and telling us this. But now it is safe for us to understand the actual true message that he came here to teach us. And these oases will manifest as long-desired benefits in human society, and they will enable human beings to rectify the mistakes in the past years since that last war. Public services will begin to improve. Humanity will begin to take on board new ethics governing their behavior, which will ensure that they treat their fellow men with loving consideration and compassion. And as this happens, prosperity will begin to return. Poverty will abate. Health will become ever more flourishing, arising from new loving responses in people's hearts and minds. And there will be benefits which at this moment you cannot even imagine, because they will accrue from a high spiritual consciousness beyond your conception at this present moment. And this is how you will create heaven on earth. But none of this will happen until people become aware that it is their own human thinking that has power over the matter of the world. Their own human thinking has power over the matter of the world. It is not spiritual. People believe that, oh, we're being punished for this or that, and this is why all these natural disasters are happening. There is nothing that is natural about them. It is showing the level of human consciousness and the level of belief. When I was up at my cabin, I met this man as I was walking down the road, and there's not, very many people there, but he was always sitting outside. He just wanted to chat, and so I go over, and he starts talking about, well, I just saw on the news this thing, and they're warning us that this is gonna, happen here, and blah blah blah, and then the very next day, that became proven true to him, and I just thought, he believed in it, and because he believed in it, it manifested this quickly. When people tell us something and we believe in it, what we are doing, belief is faith. We are putting our faith in it. This is the same as you go to a doctor and some doctor tells you, oh, this horrible thing's going to happen to you. If you believe in what that doctor has told you, it will be the truth. If you do not, it will not. Everything comes from human belief, and our belief actually affects the conscious, the visible matter that is around you is affected. When Jesus was out in the desert and he was in the height of his enlightenment, he realized that his human thought could affect the tiny motes, which we might call cells, or we might call vibration, could actually affect the visible matter that he was looking at. When he had a change in consciousness, he had a change in the visible matter that he was viewing in front of him. This is because our consciousness and visible matter is the same thing. They have told us. So we know science has already agreed on this, that, well, first of all, there's many things that observation can actually affect results, but that everything is made of vibration and energy, and that nothing is actually solid. They're like, oh, well, it looks solid, but if you get in there real teeny tiny and you look at it, it's not. There's nothing that's actually solid. It all contains light and space, and it's all a very specific vibration, which, then assembles this or assembles that. So he's talking about the minuscule, the teeniest, tiniest bits of things, which is why our consciousness, first of all, our consciousness is made of that exact same energy that all the visible matter around us is made of. And this is why the things in your environment will be affected by your thoughts. Let's say that you fear that, oh, this thing in your house is going to break down, or that thing, or this is going to get dirty, or that, or whatever it is. You will manifest it. It will be created, because your thoughts are what is creating what is around you, your visible matter, your life, and the world. So this is why you might go into some people's houses, or you might see that there's neighbors. These houses were built at the exact same time. Why does this one look this way, and why does this look that way? Look at the consciousness of the person that has owned and inhabited that house. What do they believe? What do they think? There's this wonderful book by Michael Lincoln, which this man has passed now, but I'm sure he served his purpose here on earth, because he wrote many, 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 many helpful books. And there's one called, what is it called? It's about your house, my house. Just look up Michael Lincoln house book, and it will tell you the very specific things in your house. There's pretty much nothing that's not in there. Look up ceiling fan. Look up fridge water dispenser. Look up cupboard doors. Look up. There's nothing that's not in there. So if you have an issue that's in your house, or something that breaks down, or maybe something that's broken down regularly, look it up, and it will tell you the meaning behind it. Because everything is the spirit. Everything is just trying to communicate with us and tell us how we can improve and live our lives better. Every single thing, including your body. So if your body is breaking down in some way, there is an emotional cause behind it. It does not matter if you fell down. It does not matter, oh, well, no, I hurt myself in this way. That does not matter. It was an emotional cause that made that thing happen, so that you could have that injury or disease or whatever it was, so that it could tell you something. So the best part about this is that when you change your consciousness, it will heal your body. When you heal that thing that it's just trying to get your attention about, it will heal you. And when you heal that thing, that's causing that thing in your house, that thing in your house is not going to break down anymore. It's just telling you, it's wanting you to live the best way that you possibly can. And so if there's, let's say, downgraded thinking, maybe you have really low confidence and you think people think badly of you, your body will break down. Things around your house can break, and your vehicle too. He's got another one about the vehicle. Very specific things about your car or your truck, and it will tell you all the things and what they mean and the emotional cause behind it. Because every single thing is the spirit, and it just wants you to live a heavenly life, a divine life. And if you're not, you will get these little clues or these little inklings. But what happens? Somebody gets something wrong with their body, and they think, oh, this terrible thing has happened to me. Oh no, my body is attacking me. Even my own body doesn't love me. What's going on here? Or they just won't even know. Because nobody's ever told them that, hey, there's an emotional cause behind that. Hey, this is the specific thing that it actually is. When you heal this, your body's going to heal too. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So have my clients. It's the truth. I have, however, seen sometimes a client come in, and it was really to renew their faith. That was it. They didn't even have some type of emotional tie to that specific body part. Now, that is very rare. But it was so that they could experience the divine love, because this is what I do. Yeah, I will help you to figure out what it is. You're not figuring out anything for yourself. I'm taking you, we're guiding the thing, we're going to the place. You're telling me what it is, you're figuring out, but I am guiding you to exactly what it is that you need to see. And then we're going to go on a journey of divine love so that you can understand why this has happened, and so that you can remember what that love is like, and so that you can heal your body just like that, immediately. Because there is no lag time, there is no wait time, because everything is just energy and vibration and light. And just like that eclipse, well, how long did it take for the sky to go from, dark-ish to bright as day again? Just like that. There is no wait time. When you shine the light on something, the results are immediate. And this is what we are doing, my friends. We are being the light in the world, and we are shining that light into the darkness, and it is undeniable. If you walk into a dark room with a flashlight and there's people in there, they're gonna see it. And they're gonna think, dang, I wish I had a flashlight. They are going to want to be that light too. And so as you continue to shine your light, you are not just going to change your life and turn it heavenly. And I'm telling you, it's freaking unbelievable. It is unbelievable what is happening in my life, and what has been happening in my life. Like, I can't even. It's unreal. It is just so amazing. It could make me cry. How wonderful and joyful and amazing my life really is. In every single possible way. And how has this happened? Because I have kept the faith, and I believe in the divine love, and I don't waver from it. And when something presents itself, I think, man, did I manifest that before? Where has this come from? And I will just give joy to it, and I will just be thankful for it, no matter how it appears. If it appears as darkness, well, it's not going to be dark for very long, because I'm going to shine a light on it, and I'm going to know that it is happening for me. And then I will understand so very quickly, oh, I was right, it is happening for me. Why? Because of my belief, because of my faith, because what you believe in, the thoughts that you continue to think, those things, that's your belief. And as you have those beliefs, what that is faith. And so I have faith that everything is always happening for me. And if you do not have the faith that everything is always happening for you, then it will manifest in your belief. It will manifest of how you have faith, and it will definitely appear as though it is not happening for you. And so when you can shift that belief, and you can believe, now of course, every single wonderful, blessed thing, no matter how it appears, or no matter what I originally think of it, is happening for me, then you will see very quickly it truly is happening for you. And we are creating heaven here on earth. And it begins with you. It begins in your mind. It begins in your consciousness, because it is contagious. It is contagious. And when you spread the light and you speak from a place of embodiment, of I am embodying this truth, people will receive it because they will hear it, and it will hold a certain vibration of truth, and they will know it, and they will not be able to deny it. They may not like it, because it may not resonate with where they're at, because they may be so clouded under their ego that they don't want to see that they don't want to admit that their life can be in their control, and that they have created all of these wonderful or not wonderful things there in their life. They might not want to see it, but they will still know that it is the truth. And sometimes the truth upsets people, and that's totally cool, man. They'll get over it, and they will eventually see the truth, because once we reach that critical mass where however many people, like the 100th monkey, are believing in this, then it just shifts, and all the people that naysay it are now on board, and we are living in heaven. And then we don't have any of the opposition anymore. I currently don't have it in my life. I haven't had it in my life in a long time. People don't oppose what I have to say. Maybe because I only vibrate people into my life that won't oppose it. Maybe because I don't know. I don't know the reason why, but this will happen for you as well if it has not already, and it probably has for you for the majority already. But if you believe that people will oppose you, then they will. So change your belief, and any belief that is detrimental to you, you need to get in there, you need to rip it out and replace it with the love, because we are that light. Be that light. Be that light. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for sharing it with your friends. I appreciate it so much. I love you guys. We have Christ Light Circles. I think we have one coming up here shortly, but we are a little tight in June because we got all this kind of travel and all these things that we're doing. But check out the schedule. It's the very last link in the description box below if you would like to work with me. I do hypnotherapy sessions. You can go and check out my website. That is the second last link below. And love to you all, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.